Welcome to Kiki's Chat Show. Today, again, we have things to talk about which connect to women by women for women and anyone else who wants to listen. Men are invited, men can listen and think. Men can even contribute if they want, but this is Kiki's Chat Show where every little thing is important. Every little thing. Now today, the 28th of July, I have an amazing guest. I met her through some channels which I cherish and treasure being in those channels. And Najar is one of those people who, whenever she says something, I kind of sit up and think, oh my gosh, I have to think about this. Or, oh, I didn't realize this. Or, oh my God, I was thinking this, but I didn't think, that sort of thing. Now, today, the topic of the show is African women, let's stand up. Now, my guest's name is Najar Nyakio Munyinyi. Is that the right way? Did I say it right? Oh, wow. I keep looking at it and wondering whether... Now, Najar, I don't know whether I should be telling them your age because you look 36, 37. So I'm not going to tell them your age. And she's a mother of 3 and a proud granny of 1. That's her personal life. Now, Najar shifted to a small market town called Nyakio, which lies at the base of Mountain Kenya. She moved there a few years ago. Now, she came to settle after 40 years of corporate work. Some of the questions I will ask her so that she tells you a little bit more about herself as an introduction. But suffice to know that Najar's goal is, in this year alone, she wants to plant 2,000 trees, and she's halfway there. And she produces and hosts the Maito. Oh.
Yeah.
So the U is to. Maito. Podcast show, a fascinating journey into whom we are as African women or women, the roles of the woman and how to heal our wounds naturally. The podcast is on an alternative healing channel and can be found on all podcast feeds, including Apple Podcasts. So you can find her. Just type her name in, you'll find her. Najar is a historical activist, a researcher, and a noisemaker, and has a page on Facebook which you can follow. And it's called The African Woman, and it's her personal space where she makes noise and articulates the real historical truths regarding Africa before the advent of colonization and slavery. So, welcome to my show, Najar.
Thank you so much, Auntie Kiki. I'm really honored to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you. Now, one of the things that I always ask people when they start to talk about Africa or the African is, what does it mean to be African?
Is this a trick question?
No.
Okay. I'm going to respond. This is probably going to be surprising, but the reason I'm asking that is because I'm also in this new app which is called Clubhouse. I don't know how many of you have heard about it.
Yeah. I'm in Clubhouse too. I am in Clubhouse.
Yeah. So, so just today, well, not just today, but it's actually been for about since December of this year. But today I was in a particular room where they were talking about what it means to be African and what it means to be Black American, and that there is a very big distinct difference, that Africans are Africans and Americans are Americans, and they are not descendants of Africans. They have refused this.
I don't understand.
Yes, I didn't understand it either. What they say is that history has it wrong, and that the Native Americans were Black people. Those that are called Red Indians and all those colors are not really Indian, and they're not white either. They're actually the Native Americans, and that there is a very small minority of people who have African background or roots.
Okay.
So what does it mean to be African? Is that I know my own history, and my history, I was born in Africa, and I know my history as far back as about, we're doing about 10 generations now, because we are still digging. So we can name on my paternal side, the men there have gone deeper into it, and on my maternal side, I can trace about five to six grandmothers. So to be an African is to be born on this continent and to understand my history and to study my history, because the history which we are taught in school, unfortunately, was a Eurocentric whitewashed education. And when I learned that we were having a whitewashed history, I started digging into our backgrounds and people movements and where we all come from, migrational patterns, and asking real difficult and hard questions, which led to some uncomfortable answers. So for me, this is what it means to be African, that I can trace my roots to Africa.
So you mean if you can trace your roots to Africa, then you are African, or if you have a grandmother in, who is African and another grandmother, that sort of thing. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I want to say it like that, because according to the research that that these Americans, and they're very correct, they have found out that they were the original native people in America. Melanated people in America. The historical documents, they have all the lineages, they have everything. So it puts a twist to the term African American. And therefore, when you ask this question, I will tell you honestly that to be African means that you trace your roots to the continent of Africa. And it's not about being a particular skin color. Do you understand? Yeah. Because we have, for example, in Australia, we have people who are this skin color, but they are not Africans. We have, no, they're not. They're from Australia. We know about the Maoris, we know about the New Zealanders and how they were wiped out of those continents.
Yeah.
They are not Africans. Yes, they're melanated, but they're not Africans. And I know this will cause a storm.
Well, it will cause a question because for me, I'm totally stunned by this. You know, you can be black, but not African. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I think every black person is African somewhere. So what about the boats then? Was anyone taken on the boats to America? Those black Americans, are they saying, the ones who are saying they're not African, didn't go on their ancestors were not on the boat?
No, their ancestors were not on the boats.
Okay.
Their ancestors were there before, and they lived there before, and they lived there for so long that they, you know, we have this history about Mansa Musa, and that he sent over quite a number of ships with people who, well, nobody knows where they ended up. Yeah, so nobody knows where they ended up, really. Just that the ships were sent out. And there's what is known as an assumption that they are the ones who went and settled in America. That would be about 1,000 years before so-called Christopher Columbus ever landed in the Americas.
Yeah. Before Christopher Columbus found America.
Yes.
Rose up from the sea and he found it.
Yes. Yeah, all that whitewashed history. So what they say, and they talk about a queen known as Queen Cali, and that's where the name California comes from, although it wasn't spelled with the letter C for cat.
It was K, yeah.
It was K, yes. And they mention, and they have all the documents which says that they were there before the white people, and they were there for a very, very long time, even before the Africans ever came.
Okay.
And when the Africans came, they were brought over on slave ships, and they did settle, and they are what they call the ADOS, so they are American descendants of slaves. Yes, there's that. But they also say that they are American and they have no African blood. They are uniquely American.
I see.
That puts a twist on things.
It does. It puts a twist on, and it puts a confusing twist, because now to be African is long-winded. It's a choice thing. You know, you could live in Africa, work in Africa, you're African. Or you decide whether you really are African, or your actual ancestors may have come from somewhere else and settled in Africa, therefore you're not really African. My belief is any black person is African, of African descent. And it depends, because you could have mixed somewhere, you could know, blah, 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 blah. But you're black. How did you get that? How did you get the melanation? Where did the melanation come from? So
the melanation is the original color. We are the original peoples and the native peoples everywhere. This is what has been found out scientifically, that the Caucasian is a descendant of the
Neanderthal.
Yes, of the Neanderthal. Okay. Now, so that mixture, the human and the human is the melanated person. So the human and the Neanderthal created what they call the Caucasian today.
Caucasian, yeah.
If we are to believe them, because again, this is a Eurocentric teaching. So I usually suggest caution before we start believing all these things. Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
If you go to India today, you will find that they
Black
are
people.
not even black people. You'll find that they are species of plants which are native to India. You'll find that there are species of lizard which are native to India. You'll find that there are species of trees which are native to India. If you go to Australia, you'll find that there are species of lizards and fish and which are native to Australia. If you go to the tip of Southern America, you will find that there are species of birds which are native to that particular place.
Yes. So every country has its own native, and the native was originally black.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
It's as simple as that. Why do we think that humans are so special? I mean, we have, do you know we are just 1% of species on this planet? I mean, there are so many compared to the insects, bird life, and we are just 1%. So what makes us think that we are so special? Just because we're so big and that we have built cities? So when I use caution, I advise caution when there's someone, Edith.
Yeah. Edith is saying Africans
were the first humans to circumnavigate the globe, so no surprises there. Yeah, but this is a Eurocentric. Why do we believe what they tell us? I mean, you know, we were always in certain places first. I'll tell you why I find this very suspicious. Because, say, for example, if the Americans were in America first,
yeah,
then the white man has no basis for telling the native melanated American that he should go back to Africa where he came from.
Oh, of course.
Aha.
So anyway, we've done the Africa bit. Now we've tried, and now you've confused me, because before I thought any black person was African or had African heritage, and maybe was now living in Germany, Brussels, wherever, Europe, America, wherever. And the distinction, it is so obvious to see our skin color is different, and it's so obvious to tell who we are, etc., etc., etc. Now, my other question is, I mean, the topic is women, but I want us to build to the topic. And I want to know how do you think that we, Africans, will ever take our country back? Everywhere you go in Africa, people in Europe and in America, they think Africa is a country. No. It is a huge continent. It is bigger. You can put both Europe and, you know, all those countries into Africa, and it won't fill it. However, they think that Africa is a country. They do not understand that we are a continent of people, different ideas, different this, that, and the other. We eat different food, which is different and yet similar. And we are a strong, intelligent, wonderful people. They come into our country. They take what they want. They treat us badly. We seem, though, to allow them. How do we stop them? How do we do it together as a group? Do we fight them in a war? Do we scare them? What do we do so that they leave us alone, so that we can take our continent back?
Well, I think first of all that we need, as women, to educate other women.
Yeah.
Like your show, Auntie. This show is an educational show. I think people should pay. Anyway, so first is by educating ourselves.
Yeah.
And then after we get the education, we now pass the baton on to whoever is next to us, or to our left, to our right, behind us, even in front of us. We've had a problem in Africa where our kings have, unfortunately, there's this Eurocentric habit of hoarding. And they hoard not only information, but they hoard everything. You know, they come to Africa and then they take our gold and then they go and dig a hole in their country. They call it a bank vault, and then they hoard the gold there. They come, they take our education, and then they take it to their countries and they hoard it there. And in order for you to read the same education which they have gotten from our books and our universities, which are really, really old universities, you now have to pay horrendous fees to attend the same universities. This was not our culture. It never was. We are very giving people, and we need to go who we are in the form of understanding that we need to give our energy back to ourselves. And this energy is in the form of knowledge. So, Auntie, if you know something and you tell me, it's amazing. And then I shouldn't hoard it. I should also pass it on. And keeping up this flow will grow the continent, because what they want us to do is to not pass on this information. I'm also an energy healer. So yeah. I'll just give you a little example. You know, we have water tanks in Africa to store our water, and we usually have them either on the ground or on our roofs, wherever. Now, the water comes in and is stored in the tank. And then you have at the bottom a tap to let the water out. Now, if you keep the water in the tank for too long, what happens to it? It becomes stale. And this is the same truth that happens to ourselves and to the information that we have. If we keep and hoard all this information, we become stale because we're not passing it through, we're not passing it on. So we need to understand that we must teach our children, we must teach our daughters, we must teach our sons, and not to be shy to teach and to share new ideas. We cannot be like those who were before us. You know, there's this song which we used to sing in church. We shall not be moved. And let me tell you, that is a very bad position for the human being, because it means that you do not grow. Your brain reaches a certain point and then, you know, from that point, it just stops. So I believe Yes, it stagnates. Yes. So I believe in teaching and the sharing of information and chat shows and listening to everybody, listening to the young, listening to the old, listening to your age mates. Just listen and learn. Auntie, you'd mentioned that we are in the age of Aquarius, which means that there's a lot of stuff which we're going to learn. And it's not a matter of things being true or untrue. It's a matter of things being brought to the light. This is what I think.
Okay. All the information is there. It is not being shared, but it's all going to come up now because we're in the age of Aquarius. That makes sense. Now, my next question is it provocative to say that women are the only group of people who can heal and repair Africa?
No, it's not provocative at all. I think you know I believe that we need to come to an understanding of whom we are as women.
Yeah.
Now, the way I spell it is WOMB, womb, men. Because we have a womb. And the agenda has been since the beginning of, let's say, 2,000 years or so. The agenda has been to stop the understanding of whom the African woman is. Her strengths, her capabilities, her energies, and how the womb is the birther of all life. So when Auntie Kiki says that Africa is switching over and that it is women who are going to bring healing, she is correct. She's not being provocative at all. And we need to understand this. Why? The womb itself has been created to generate energy. We are the generators of energy. And this is where the word generation comes from.
Okay.
We generate energy and we generate a nation.
Okay.
This is also why when our children are when we are pregnant, when our babies are in the womb, this is why we need to be so careful about our diets, like our mothers used to say, because what we're doing is that all that DNA, that whatever we eat, whatever we see, whatever we breathe, whatever we feel, that is the DNA material which is going into our unborn, into the fetuses. Now, we also have a lot of wisdom. And this wisdom we channel also to our unborn. There's a lot of scientific research today which says that yes, children take their intelligence from the mother, not the father. So we need as women to be really specific, focused in how we are going to channel our energies towards the development of our countries, and to stop arguing about nonsense. You know, we're doing all kinds of crazy things instead of just sitting back like our mothers used to do and raise nations out of our men, raise nations out of our women, because that is what we are. We create generations. So yes, it is up to us to shift this change.
So if we keep saying that women are women and we're directing everything towards the womb, there are lots of women who don't have children. What then are they? Or do you think they do not have children? Is it because of this present day world and the pressures and the situations and the medicines? Or is it that every woman would have had a child if we had not been infiltrated by the Caucasian?
No. To have children is physical manifestation and creating another human being. When I talk about energy and the womb creating energy, we can create anything. We can create buildings, we can create farms, we can create gardens of Eden, we can create art, we can create music, we can create whatever we want to create. That is how magnificent we are. We can create weather patterns, we can create, you name it, the woman can create it and she can manifest it, including giving birth to human beings. So it's not having a womb does not mean that it is our duty and only responsibility to make babies. No, we can do so much more with our energy.
Okay, so at the moment, right now, we have a few African women who are heads of states. We have, Sirleaf Johnson. We have, is it Zambia or, one of those countries where the man died. The man who was fighting against the coronavirus, he died, and then a woman came on. I've forgotten her name, but she's there.
Oh, that was Tanzania when
in Tanzania
Magufuli died.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there are a few women coming up. Some people always, in Ghana, for example, we haven't actually had a woman head of state, but we always have running mates when they have elections, etc. I don't even want to go to the West where there is Kamala Harris, and that, she may not be African. Who knows? With all these people deciding whether they're African or not African. So we just leave her and just concentrate on Africa. Having said all that, do you think it is time? How do women then get into public life to be able to have enough power to be able to control things, to make decisions? Because in communities up and down the whole of Africa, there are women doing things. In my country, we have very powerful women. And these women, in fact, if you go into our shops, our market areas, and women are very hardworking. Women own land. Women are business women, women. But they just don't get to the top. Now, if we want women to get to the top, how do we do this? Is it something is holding us back? I mean, women can't control in their homes because they don't get to the level where you want them to get to. How do we do this?
By constant teaching and by talking, again, by talking to our girls, by talking to our women, by talking to our daughters, especially our daughters, and talking to them now. You know, there was a time there when we used to be told that women can't do this, women can't do that, women can't do the other. And this went on for quite a long time. It is brainwashing. And then we were told, oh, now women can do this, women can do that, women can do the other. And the beauty is that we, like you said, we do have women, African women, who are rising in positions of political power. And what we need to do is to continue to educate our daughters, educate our nieces, educate all these girls, and tell them, yes, this is possible, and to support them. I think it is very important, especially the support bit. For example, I personally do support women whenever I come across a woman who wants to pick up a position of power, you know, whether it is on social media, whether it is directing my energy towards her, whether it is talking about her in a good way to others. Now, somebody's going to come up here and say, yeah, but you do all that, and then she turns around and she gives you a slap. Don't do it. Never do anything expecting to get something back for yourself. Let me explain. I plant trees. And I've planted a couple of mango trees. And I'm going to plant more mango trees. I'm also going to plant, you know, this is my plan, to plant tamarind, to plant avocado, and to plant all these things. Am I going to eat from all those trees? No.
No.
Yeah. So
By
we
the time
need
the tree grows.
Yes. Yes. So we mustn't say that, oh, we are going to support Auntie Kiki just because she's going to come back and give me something. This is the wrong mentality. You support for growth. And because we have all that generation, that energy that we generate, again, we're talking about, we have so much energy. We have this energy every single month. So we've got to give it out. So we give it out to other women. And we don't sit there saying, oh, but I want this back and I want this back. No, you do it because you have the capability to do it. And you know what? That energy will come back to you in another form, right? But to sit there saying that I will not support her because she will not support me or something like that, this is wrong thinking. This is just wrong thinking. Let's start new here. Let's start new energy. Let's start a new way of doing things, where we support our women, where we support our girls, where we encourage them where we can, where we can. Don't go overboard. Never go overboard. Share what you can. Don't kill yourself. No, you have to take care of yourself first. But support as well as you can. Where you have the chance to give a good word, give a good word. Where you have the chance to say, you know, I know so-and-so, she can do this, right? So you give that support instead of giving this support to somebody else. Yeah, you give that support. And this way, slowly, we will make a change. And in the next 10 years, we will see more of our women in leadership positions. This is my wish. This really, truly is my wish.
Okay. Now that we have found your wish, let us go deeper into women and some of the things that hold women back. For example, women are still being forced into marriage at a very young age. And the minute you are in, it is like a claw. You are caught in it, you're stuck. You have children, you are being respectful, submissive, good, and all of that, bringing up children. and not upsetting your husband and especially your in-laws, at which point are you going to be doing something to become somebody for the benefit of your environment?
Again, I think I was with you on the show where we said that not all of us have to get married. And we're talking about this thing called marriage material, which is very, very controversial.
Yeah.
So if not all of us are marriage material, and if not all of us want to create babies, we can also create other things.
Okay. What about women? Women who are, for example, in my country, in my part of Africa, women do own land. Women can my mother can hand it down to me, I can hand it down to my daughter, etc. But in your side, you can't do that. How are we going to change? Because you see, one of the problems that hold women back is economics. Economical. It's a woman who does not have the power to make a decision. It's all economics. So how do we do that?
I love that question. Thank you so much for bringing it up. Yes, we do have a problem in Kenya, and I don't know how many other countries have this problem, where there's an issue regarding land ownership. You see, in Kenya, women, let me start from what is called, for example, what is called the husband and wife situation.
Okay.
If a couple buy a piece of land, if the land is not in the woman's name, she will not inherit that land. This is the law. If he dies before her, it is assumed that the land belongs to him and she can only hold it in trust for her children. And it becomes very difficult to go to court and to change the authority and for her to be able to say that she owns that land. So what the clever women do is that they make sure that it is their name on the property. Because you see, the man, it doesn't matter, the man will still own the land anyway. So what the clever women do is that they make sure that if it's in a marriage situation, that they are the ones whose name is on what is called a title. Then again, many men now do not want to do that. They do not want to put their property in the name of their wives. So it's very rare for a woman in Kenya, unless she has bought the land herself, to be able to pass it on down to her daughters. And if she has sons, first consideration is usually given to the son, because it is assumed that the daughters will go and get married into a family which has land. You see, all these assumptions. So all these laws were written by, guess who? The colonialists.
The colonials wrote this land for you, this land issue for you guys.
I'm telling you, we have some laws that are so old. Yes, there's a new constitution, but that constitution was still based upon the older patriarchal laws which came from the Brits. So it's a mess.
I think that the first step of women forging forward is to make sure that these land issues are resolved. It has to be.
Yes, it has to be. It has to be. So again, it is a matter of education. It's a matter of alerting women, of letting them know. And this is not just regarding land, it's also regarding all property, all businesses, everything. Everything. If you have joint ownership in a business with a man, if he dies, you have no access to that property. It is assumed that it belongs, that it will go to his children, right?
So what? Okay, so the land issue is there, and it's troubling, but it has to be looked at. Now we have also the issue of traditions and culture, which hold women back to the level that even her own body seemed to be determined by somebody else. So in some parts of Africa, we have FGM and all of that. I don't want to say what it is, but you do know. And then there are people who know what FGM is. So how does that also affect a woman's progress?
Oh, antique. FGM is such a big topic. I spoke about it last year for I think about 3 months together with Queen Na Amali.
Yeah, I was there. I heard some of it. I heard very powerful.
And we just didn't exhaust it because it is so deep. Some of these traditions did not come originally from Africa. They actually came from outside of Africa, and FGM is one of them. And it was to make slaves of girls, and it was a slave mark. And all this began before the onset of our modern religions, okay? This was during the Roman era. This was before the birth of Jesus. This was before the birth of Muhammad.
Really? Wow. It goes, is that why it is so difficult to stop? I think,
yes.
You know, I think that this is a topic that we should talk about on its own in the future, in a few months. But at the moment, what I need to know is, what is the hope for Africa? I mean, you did say that, you know, we have agreed that we're in the age of Aquarius. We have also agreed that, you know, things are coming out. Some people are quite happy to help in the building of Africa, both men and women. And you and I feel that women are more equipped because of all the powers that God has given us. You know, the universe has blessed us with, bestowed us with, that we can lead Africa forward. However, so many things are holding us back. How do you think that we can make, apart from education, what is the hope? What is the hope for Africa? I mean, that's your final question, really.
Education and support for every single woman that you come across. And also energy. This thing called energy is real, Auntie. I mean, what I mean is this. You can give a lot of negative energy to somebody. You can be rude to them. You can gossip about them. You can say nasty things about them. And that is negative energy. And it will affect not only them, but also you.
You, yeah.
Yes, because this comes out, it's not from us.
Yeah.
And the age of Aquarius is some these a very wise woman, very careful what you release, because it's going to come back like a boomerang to you so fast, so fast. It's not like before. And this is so true. Things are really, really speeding up. If you just watch what is happening, you say something, or things are really, really speeding up. It's not like before, we can't even, it's like we're in a boat which is just constantly rocking, or in a plane which is just, there's no calm flow. Something happens today and then something else happens tomorrow. So what I constantly say is that make sure that the energy that you're giving to all the women around you is positive. Support them, support them, support them. And this energy, this good comes back to you, and then you give it back out again. So imagine if, for example, we have just 10 people supporting you today. That means that you are able to do what you want to do freely, knowing that you have 10 women
Behind you.
Behind you. Isn't that awesome?
It is.
And then tomorrow you have another 10.
And
So
each
this is
10 has 10.
Yes.
Each 10 has 10.
So
yes.
So
your
this is
army.
what we must do. Yes, this is what we must do, and just keep building on that and keep supporting each other like that, and this will make a change.
This is so positive. We don't have much time left. I have really enjoyed it. It's like we just started talking and an hour has gone by. This is just so bizarre. Okay, so I want to thank you for this chat. You have opened our eyes. You have told us things that, from beginning of discussion about how people see themselves. Some people, Black people who do not think they're Black, very Black people who do not think that they're Black, which is fascinating. They think that maybe they are rather indigenous Americans, or they may be Aborigines, or they may be Maoris, or they may be, whatever. But all of these Black people are people who have traveled from Africa and ended up in those places. But if they don't want to be Africans, that's fine. We love our Africa, and we want to do something for our Africa. Everywhere we go in the Western world, we're being abused. We're being asked to go back to our country. Even if we are 3 generations, we've lived here, our mothers, our grandmothers, everything. No, go back. The minute they see your color, it means you do not fit. And we really must find somewhere that we fit. But to be able to live there, we must build it up and make it into somewhere that is comfortable. Everybody must be comfortable. I have come to the realization that nobody was born into this earth to suffer. Human beings make other people suffer. And we must come out of it. We have to try and climb out of it. We need to find ways of making ourselves comfortable and making our generations comfortable. And we have to find a way. I want to thank you. I'm so glad you came on, and I'm so glad that we had this chat. And I want us to have more of these chats. And very soon I shall bring people. Let me tell you something you don't know about me. I am somebody who is in a group with Najar, and it is African women from different places. And we all come together every month, and we chat and we talk about things. We help each other. We talk about food, whatever it is, each person's strength pops out. We even fight once in a while. We disagree. But we are family. I don't know, because since we came together, we are stuck. We love each other. And yet, we have different ideas and all of that. And through that, I think I have become a better person. Now, I want you all to do the same. I want you to start thinking of your army. We need an army. And when I say army, people behind you. And I have Najar, he has me, and then other people, we all have each other. I have different groups of friends. I have friends from my childhood, which I'm still with. And then I have friends from all walks of life. Now, this discussion is one of them we're having. We're learning from each other. This will continue. Najar, thank you so much for coming. Again, I keep saying thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going to carry on with this discussion until we find a way. Even if we don't find it, our children will find it. A way is coming, and it's going to be from us. And we're going to make Africa what it's supposed to be, what the universe intended it to be. Thank you. Thank you, listeners. Listeners, I thank you for coming on my show. As always, I am very grateful. You have shared, you've made comments on Facebook, you've made comments on all over the place. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. So, Najar.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. It's been awesome. And you make me so happy, Auntie. So
really?
happy. Yes, I love your different views, you know. So thank you so much for having me on this show.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been an honor.
Yeah. So we shall continue our chat elsewhere, but we shall leave these people. I think it's midnight where you are, isn't it?
Yes, it's almost midnight. Yeah.
Almost midnight. I'll leave you to go and sleep, and then we shall carry on with our discussions later.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.